I have to say, I absolutely love the idea of two souls merging and becoming one. Definitely been a build-up to seem more likely that Kumiko's one brain takes over the Demon Lord, but I'm really happy to see the merging be what's actually happening, which goes to show why someone like Ariel in the present, which we saw at the beginning of the show, she talked about the spider's memories. How would she have Kumiko's memories unless she was Kumiko herself? Which then fueled a lot of people saying Kumiko becomes the Demon Lord. But over the weeks, that's definitely been split apart, so the idea of her taking over Ariel's mind, that's being a more likely scenario. But the idea of her being influenced by one of the brains and clearly becoming a lot more carefree, a lot of her speaking behavior and the way she interacts with things, the desire to eat everything in sight. I like the idea of her basically gaining all of those memories and experiences that Kumiko experienced up until the point that the brain separated, and her influencing and merging into one rather than just a full-on hostile takeover. So you'll have clearly Kumiko evolving into the girl in white. There's no other way around it. It's basically been confirmed as such. I'm not sure if we'll see it in this season or not, but I mean, clearly, the two brains and Kumiko, who are still active and kicking, most likely the reason why she doesn't get killed or they don't continue to fight is, as Ariel says in this episode, due to everything that's happening in her mind, she feels less determined to kill her, but she still wants to punish her, which is what we got in this episode. There'll have to be a pact, most likely similar to that of Shun, which he did with the dragon. I'm not sure if a pact would immediately trigger her to have a humanoid form or just something more dangerous. Either way, it's all lining up and making sense, and it makes past actions completely, perfectly wrapped up package that doesn't really leave things hanging. This is clearly still just the intro to the story, but for having so many mysteries, especially surrounding the whole Demon Lord angle, Kumiko, what's going on, this is really cool, and I really like how they handled it. Keeping the Demon Lord as the Demon Lord, but being so heavily influenced that eventually there will become a point where they'll become a new Demon Lord entity that is a lot more cool, calm, and collected, and less hostile and fearful than she started out, which is really cool. And I'm going to be interested to see, because most likely I imagine the fight will conclude next week, and probably episode 24 will be the epilogue closure episode, at least for the anime for the time being. And hopefully we get that season 2. I mean, we've been building up to this for a long time, and I remember I saw a lot of people complain that we didn't get to see any real combat between Ariel and the dragon. Well, we got it in this episode. We actually got to see quite a bit of it, and just how, over the course of that fight, she really had influences start to trigger, like the fact of how she would talk with him, and everyone except Ariel was really confused about what was going on there. And I love the build-up to having one of the admins pop up, basically calling it out for what it is. Which one am I talking with, as we have that cute little spider pop up, basically being a bit of a troll. And I like how, instead of just being like, oh my god, get out of my mind, what is going on? She just she still is very in control despite having things really mess with her mind. And to see her pop up, limit teleportation, limit the magic she could use, as we just have total annihilation, and the fact that when she's calling it out, being like, I missed on purpose, Kumiko's still trying to put on that brave face, I doubt you did. It's just really fun to see the back and forth, and to see what's been teased in the opening for so long finally start to happen, as you have little Julius in the background trying to play hero, but is literally shaking in his boots. It's interesting to see how different characters respond to, say, the hero skill, because a Demon Lord as powerful as her, you would think, would just blast Julius away. That's originally what Kumiko herself was thinking. But when you know that the hero class is the one class that can truly destroy a Demon Lord, it is something you have to be cautious of and not jump to conclusions. And you have to prepare, you have to think things through. So I like how they're definitely playing in with the past and present timelines here. I mean, the last few minutes we jump into the present with Hugo and Shun and things like that. You know, just seeing the healing magic take place on the girl who got absolutely sniped and annihilated last week. The religion is keeping her alive for the time being. As you clearly have questions starting to be raised, like, okay, if Hugo's saying he's a hero, why would he willingly take on the Demon Lord's skill, right? That's not something. So clearly, the boy's being manipulated. I feel like his memories have definitely been altered, or at least there's like a puppeteer going on here. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the conclusion of that fight, because if it was a traditional show, Shun would easily wipe the floor, but it's not a traditional show, right? I mean, just look at what happened to Julius. He got one-shotted with his party by most likely who's going to be future Kumiko, right? So just to watch an episode that was pure carnage, you started off with this amazing reporter humor. You have Kumiko on the scene, reporting as it is, and she's saying, this is a buffet for me, I'm going to eat so much human flesh, I'm going to level up like crazy, but make sure you don't come out here, the storm is too crazy for you. For having it be as funny as it was for like the first 5 minutes, I was totally expecting next week was when Ariel was gonna pop up. Because when we were focusing on her fight with the dragon and things like that, I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a funny deal with the war for the time being, as she clearly knows she's responsible for it, as she literally admits in the funniest way possible. But actually have her pop up in such a badass Terminator fashion, I mean, when Ariel gets serious, it's pretty frightening, and it's going to be a good thing for Kumiko that she is going to have her on her side at the very least as an ally, supporter, a pet. I don't know how it's going to work out. Either way, I like how they're definitely building that relationship, and I really thought the entire reason Ariel and Kumiko would come together was simply going to be that they fought for so long and they just realized they couldn't kill each other. And while that's probably still a big factor, I like the idea that one of the brains has been influencing Ariel to make her a lot more cool, calm, and collected, and not as rash, so she can actually enable that behavior, saying, you know what, maybe I can bring her to my side. And for Kumiko, she's not an idiot. She understands she can't beat this character, and the only one who could was a little child, and she doesn't have much faith in that child right now. So I think it's going to be a mixture of, one, a character wanting to survive and not have to run for her life anymore. Much rather Mother Danger over here be on my side, so if other characters try to do this shit to me, I can throw Mama at her, while also having the Demon Lord just being a lot more passive and cool, and probably, hopefully, stopping the spider from fully consuming her mind and becoming more of a merging factor. And I think that's going to be really cool. I just really like this episode. I think it delivers on the hype of the fights that we've been anticipating. I really liked even the present day stuff, even though it was only a couple of minutes. I think there's definitely some good build up there. I almost feel like that content's going to be more in episode 24 than, say, episode 23, but I guess we'll see. The action was well animated. I mean, yeah, last week it wasn't a production highlight, but as everyone knew, like, they were building up to something bigger and they were putting their time and resources into something that matters. And once again, the worst animated part of the episode was the human stuff because there wasn't all that much to it. So the janky camera movements, I mean, who really cares when you had 18-ish minutes of pretty much non-stop action, laser beams. It felt like you're in Pokemon watching hyper beams out the ass. It was really, really entertaining while being funny, exciting, terrifying, and definitely clicking in all the pieces. And now at this point, it feels like rather than really questioning why Ariel and Kumiko will come together and what happens to Ariel and things like that, we now kind of have the answer to that. So most likely, in very Soma Spider So What fashion, by the time we reach episode 24, there will be bigger mysteries that will take place and will make us either want to jump to the source material or hopefully jump into season 2 if we ever get the opportunity to watch it. Incredible stuff, delivered on what I wanted, and the worst part of the episode was just some mediocre and kind of lackluster directing on the human side when it did switch over to it for like 2 minutes, but who really cares, right? Let me know your thoughts and feelings, and definitely those theories if you have any down below in the comment section. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.